Please be seated. Thank you very much. The President of the UN Habitat Assembly, Madam Marta Delgado, the Executive Director, UN Habitat, and also the Acting DG of UNON, Madam Joyce Musunya, Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Assembly, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me at the very onset say it's a great pleasure for me to join you today during this inaugural session of the UN Habitat Assembly, which comes barely 2 months after the 4th session of the United Nations Environment Assembly, which was also held here at the United Nations office in Nairobi. Allow me at the very onset to take again this opportunity to welcome you all to Kenya, home to our breathtaking natural beauty, rich wildlife, our capital city, Nairobi, and home to our happy, maybe not as happy as yours, but as happy, and peaceful people. I note that this assembly replaces the UN Governing Council following the endorsement of the resolution by the United Nations General Assembly in December of last year. The resolution established a new governance structure which upgraded UN Habitat status to a universal body and created a 36-member board which will be elected during the session. This new structure is really intended to transform UN Habitat's governance, provide oversight, and enhance UN Habitat's efficiency and effectiveness in the delivery of its mandate. As a country, Kenya welcomes this restructuring decision and indeed calls upon the established organs to take up their respective roles in re-engineering the institution and its processes to ensure that it delivers on its core mandate as the lead agency in urbanization and human settlement. Again, I'd like at this stage to congratulate you, Madam Delgado, for your election as the first president of this assembly. I would also like to congratulate the Executive Director, Ms. Maimuna Maud Sharif, as the Executive Director of Habitat, and indeed to state that I wish you well as you lead this revitalization of UN Habitat, and I can assure you of mine and Kenya's support as you execute your duties. Ladies and gentlemen, the overall theme, innovation for a better quality of life in cities and communities, is quite fitting. In almost all parts of the world, societies are currently ill-prepared to plan effectively for the rapid urbanization that is taking place. Indeed, as a result, many countries, including Kenya, have seen a proliferation of slums and informal settlements, urbanization of poverty, and increased environmental degradation. Addressing these challenges calls for collective international action informed by scientific research and technological innovations. Therefore, the theme, innovation for better quality of life in cities and communities, is quite timely. I am aware that you will be considering and reviewing the strategic plan, activities, work program, and budget, as well as setting policy of UN Habitat during this first assembly. And I encourage you to explore strategic ways of transforming our cities and human settlements into engines of economic growth and development in a sustainable manner. Accelerating the implementation of the new urban agenda, as reflected in the Assembly sub-theme, is urgent and important. I am aware that progress has been slow, largely in part because of financial and institutional constraints at UN Habitat, but also due to member states' inefficient capacity to interpret, implement, and report on progress on urban agenda. To this end, I would wish to call upon the Executive Director, in collaboration with established subsidiary organs, through the new governance structure, to ensure that UN Habitat's organizational capacity and resource base is strengthened to enable it to take up its role as a center of excellence and a global leader in the field of urbanization and human settlements development. This will also enable UN Habitat to effectively deliver on the double mandate entrusted to it as a designated focal point for sustainable urbanization and human settlements. I also call on all of us as stakeholders to support the work of UN Habitat. I call upon the UN Secretary General to consider increasing UN Habitat's regular budget allocation, but also urge member states to increase and honor their voluntary contributions to the UN Habitat Human Settlements Foundation, while at the same time encouraging those in a position to do so to consider increasing non-earmarked funds to be part of the core budget of UN Habitat. In this connection, I wish to assure you that Kenya will remain committed to supporting UN Habitat and its activities. As host to UN Habitat, Kenya has supported the preparations of this meeting in cash and kind, and we shall continue to provide assistance whenever we are in a position to do so. In addition to this, I commit that my government will increase its contribution to UN Habitat and Human Settlements Foundation gains account during our next annual contribution. Kenya will also participate in the pledging session, where we will consider additional contributions. With the above measures from all of us, I am confident that under the able stewardship of the Executive Director, we shall together attain the sustainable development goals and the new urban agenda and elevate this organization to a higher level. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, allow me just to touch on a little bit of my government's efforts to implement the new urban agenda and related global urban agenda. Kenya has outlined 4 key priorities, which we call the Big Four, for implementation over the next 5 years. These include raising the share of manufacturing sector to 15% of GDP, ensuring all citizens enjoy food security and nutrition, and achieving universal health care coverage, while delivering at least 500,000 affordable housing units in major cities around our country. In support of the affordable housing agenda, we have facilitated the establishment of a mortgage liquidity facility in Kenya, the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company, which aims to support the development of the primary and secondary mortgage markets to provide long-term, secure funding to mortgage lenders and increase availability, affordability of mortgage loans, especially to those of low income. We have also embarked on a major infrastructural development, both on major highways and within our major urban areas, that have helped facilitate mobility, improve sanitation, and access to services by our citizens. In the areas of research and technology, Kenya has laid emphasis on innovation as an accelerator of the quality of life for its citizens through promotion and development of entrepreneurship education in all sectors of the economy. The Kenya National Innovation Agency, which was established in 2013 to develop and manage the national innovation system and leverage entrepreneurship towards a self-sustaining economy. And to this end, the country has a number of business incubation centers that include NILAB, iHub, Strathmore University Incubation Center, Kenyatta University, and the Chandaria Incubation Innovation Center. Again, in support of the Paris Agreement on climate change, Kenya is co-leading in the Special Ministerial Roundtable on infrastructure, cities, and local action, together with Turkey and UN Habitat. This is with the support of the governments of Canada, Germany, Mexico, and Singapore, and the Special Envoy's team of the Secretary General's Climate Summit that is scheduled for this evening in preparation for the September summit in New York. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the numerous initiatives we have embarked on, I still note that inadequate shelter and unsustainable human settlements remain a key challenge. And I therefore continue to urge member countries and partners to seize the opportunity during this UN Habitat Assembly to exchange ideas and best practices with a view of identifying practical solutions for improving our cities and human settlements. And I'm confident, indeed, that your interactions during this assembly will enhance our capacity to better confront and deal with urban challenges, and I therefore encourage you to formulate strategies that will revolutionize our institutions and ensure sustainable urban development and human settlements. Finally, as I conclude, for many of our visitors from different parts of the country, I do hope that you will find time to relax and sample some of our rich natural and cultural diversity and enjoy the renewed and renowned hospitality of our Kenyan people. With these few remarks, indeed, I wish each and every one of you very fruitful deliberations, and once again, Karibu Kenya. Thank you.